This past Thursday, America and much of the world marked D-Day plus 75. David Martin has been talking to the grandson of the man who launched that invasion, General Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Ike on the eve of D-Day.
General Eisenhower paid a visit to the airborne infantry.
A commander sending warriors into battle.
His presence is saying to them, whatever happens tonight, your sacrifice will be meaningful. He loved these soldiers, and he just wanted to see them.
David Eisenhower is the grandson of the general who commanded the greatest military operation of history's most terrible war.
My grandparents would stand here, one in this window, one in that window, and they would just wave until we disappeared.
David grew up on the Eisenhower farm at Gettysburg, just over the hill from the scene of the greatest battle of the American Civil War. As president, Ike named the presidential retreat Camp David after his grandson. They were close, but not close enough to share memories of D-Day.
He did not tell stories. In fact, I was discouraged from really raising the subject with him. World War II was not that safe a topic.
Because?
This would apply to Franklin Roosevelt and everybody in command responsibility, Winston Churchill as well. They said their piece in memoirs. They said it the way they wanted to say it. I think that they felt that every decision that they made in World War II carried consequences.
So the decisions were too consequential to be the subject of small talk?
I think that about distills it. The lives of literally millions in Europe are at stake. I put all my toys out right here and had my battles at night.
David did not learn about D-Day sitting at his grandfather's knee. He learned about it researching and writing Eisenhower at War, which was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize.
He did not have a grandiose notion about his position in the war. He was part of something much larger than himself, and he understood that.
President Roosevelt named Eisenhower commander of the operation codenamed Overlord in December 1943.
The stage is being set for the beginning of the great and crucial test all over the world.
Just 6 months before troops were supposed to go ashore at Normandy.
Here's the good news. They had this magnificent plan in place when Eisenhower's named.
But he had to make sure the plan would actually work.
The initial assault was 3 divisions, with 2 following up, meaning a 5-division overlord. He wanted 12 divisions. So he has to expand the landing.
Doubles the landing.
Doubles it, better than doubles it.
2.8 million men and 7,000 ships were assembled for the invasion and the follow-on landings. There were too many decisions for any one man to make, but one decision only Ike could make.
To launch the operation, that is the one which was his.
What are the factors he has to consider in making that go, no-go decision?
The overriding factor is the safety of the landing. And that is a combination, it seems to me, of weather and the pace of German reinforcement.
We came down here hoping and praying that the weather would be sufficiently good we could go on the June 5th.
One of the few times Eisenhower ever spoke about D-Day was with Walter Cronkite on the 20th anniversary in 1964. They visited the command post where he was given the weather forecast for June 5th.
The worst report you ever saw. And he talked about gales hitting the Normandy beaches and winds up to the rate of 45 miles an hour, that kind of thing. Landing would be impossible.
But the forecast for the 6th promised a brief break.
I thought it was just the best of a bad bargain. I just got up and said, okay, we'll go. And this room was emptied in 2 seconds.
The Germans really felt that the weather precluded landings, and they were right. But what they did not see was a window that had appeared in our forecasts of about 18 hours.
But winds were still high and visibility low, which made the paratroop drops behind the beaches high risk. Before he paid his famous visit to the 101st Airborne, Ike was warned they could suffer 80% casualties.
He understood that the risks were very high for these soldiers. This was a landing that had to succeed. You just do things when you know it has to work, that you would not otherwise do.
If you're a German soldier, this is the landing that has to fail.
The Germans fought that way. This was a huge fight. This is not Germany giving up.
In the final hours before the invasion, Eisenhower wrote this letter in the event the landings failed.
The troops, air and navy, did all that bravery and devotion to duty could do. If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine alone. Pretty strong.
Ike did not have to take the fall for D-Day, nor did he claim credit for its success when he visited Normandy for the last time with Walter Cronkite.
So everything was gone wrong that could go wrong. And finally, some hardy soul just got up and said, come on, fellas, I'm sick of this and let's try it. And we began to see these little individual acts of heroism.
The capture of Cherbourg 3 weeks after the first landing in Normandy is called by military experts the greatest Allied strategic triumph of the war.
He looks like a young man still in that picture.
Well, he does.
D-Day and the liberation of Europe made Eisenhower the most famous general in America, the so-called man on a white horse who rode to victory in the 1952 presidential election.
You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president.
His smile made "I like Ike" a natural campaign slogan. But watch what happened to that smile before a gathering of World War II veterans.
I'm sure one of the things that came to his mind right away was, here I am running for president. And 1,200 people died on Omaha Beach on June 6, 1944. And they're there and I am here.
1,200 on Omaha Beach, 4,400 American and Allied dead all told on D-Day.
Russell Woodward of the 29th, and Harry Ramsey of the 8th from New Jersey, Willard Klaus, 82nd Airborne from Kentucky.
If any one person deserves the final word on D-Day, it is surely Dwight David Eisenhower.
I devoutly hope that we will never again have to see such scenes as these. We must find some way to work and to really to gain an eternal peace for this world.